Today's topic of discussion is the disease known as coronavirus.
Coronavirus. Severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2, or more commonly known as coronavirus, has shook the world for almost a whole year. With the world closing off its borders and nations introducing lockdowns, it is obvious that coronavirus is not just a regular virus. So, where did coronavirus come from?
Coronavirus is a virus that has originated from a market in Wuhan City, China. The first cases of coronavirus were reported in December 2019. Experts say that coronavirus originated from bats, while pangolins, known as scaly anteaters, were an intermediary host between bats and humans. This seems even more likely as the footage of pangolins being sold in Wuhan's open-air markets were made public.
So, how does coronavirus work? COVID-19 is the illness caused by the coronavirus, and it starts with virus-laden droplets entering your eyes, nose, or mouth. From here, the coronavirus travels down the respiratory tract, where its spikes bind onto the ACE2 receptors of cells that are rich in the cell surface receptors ACE2. ACE2 normally has a role in regulating blood pressure. However, a series of chemical changes occur that fuse the membrane of the virus and the cell together when they come into contact. This allows the virus to inject its RNA into the healthy cell, hijack its protein-making systems, and translate its RNA into new copies of the virus. Eventually, the cell will rupture, allowing the virus to hijack other cells. If the immune system doesn't beat coronavirus in its early stages, the virus can then move down into the lower airways and the lungs, which have more ACE2 receptors than the rest of your respiratory tract. Here, coronavirus can damage the cells and tissue that line the alveoli in your lungs. Damage causes tissues to break off and clog your lungs. This leads to pneumonia, which is the inflammation of the lungs. If the virus still hasn't been fought off by the immune system, the infected may get ARDS, which is a life-threatening condition in which the lungs become severely inflamed and can't provide the body with enough oxygen. At this point, patients have already been put on ventilators and their condition is considered fatal.
How does coronavirus spread and how to prevent it? As I'm sure it is already common knowledge, coronavirus spreads through airborne transmission in the form of virus-laden droplets. When an infected person coughs, sneezes, or talks, the virus is released in this way. Furthermore, the virus can remain alive on various surfaces for a very long time. This means that the transmission of the virus through contact with infected surfaces is possible as well. However, the virus is only a danger once it enters the body through the eyes, nose, or mouth. To prevent this, you should try not to touch your face. This means that if by chance the virus has been caught on your fingers, it does not enter the body. You should also wash your hands as much as possible or use hand sanitizer when soap and water is not available. This is because soap breaks down the layer of fat called a lipid envelope that encases the virus. Trivial tasks like hand washing will break the lipid envelope and leave the virus unable to infect you. You should also try to stay around 2 meters apart from other people. This will decrease the chance of the transmission of the virus through airborne droplets. Wearing a face mask is also extremely advised as it would create a physical barrier between any viruses that are still airborne and your face. It also prevents you touching your own face as well.
We know the world is going through some strange times due to this pandemic. So before we wrap up this video, let us leave you with a quote by the poet Lord Byron. Always laugh when you can. It is cheap medicine.
Thank you for listening. Also, make sure to like, comment and subscribe as we'll be bringing out more episodes very soon.